This is Amanda for the Back Room, and all I can say is that it kicks so much ass to be me right now because I am on the phone with the incredible David Hayter. Thank you so much for doing this, David, especially after your whole anime expo fiasco.
Thank you. Well, you know, I go on undaunted fiascos or no. You can't let that stop you. And besides which, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm a big fan of yours.
Oh, thank you. Okay, that's going to be a ringtone later. But you have a ton going on right now, and without a doubt, the biggest thing has to be Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this has been a long time coming for you. I mean, you've been working on this since about 2001, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think I actually first pitched it in December 2000. So yeah, it's been going on quite a while, and as you know, the first trailers just came out with Dark Knight, with the Dark Knights, and it's really, really exciting and sort of surreal because I pictured those trailers very, very much as they presented them for many years, and it's very, very exciting.
Definitely. And I mean, I'm excited myself. I cannot wait. I'm like taking off days from work already to go see it.
Cool.
So what's the best part about finally seeing it materialized and going to the big screen?
Well, you know, it remains to be seen. I still have to see the movie, but I think the best part is that it finally came together in the way that I'd always hoped it would, which is with a truly visionary director who is a very pure fan of the book. You know, it was very important to me that we make that novel into a film and not into some other thing, you know, as other people have tried to do in the past. And so the fact that it is coming together very close to what the book is really means everything to me.
Right.
Plus, I also realize that despite, you know, the credit or the residuals or whatever, the best part for me is that when I build my really nice office for myself, I'll get to put that smiley face, blood-splotched smiley face poster up on my wall and have it be my movie, and I'm very, very excited about that.
Right, that's awesome. Now, how would you explain the Watchmen comics and universe to someone who's never really read them?
Well, with great difficulty, because I had to do that for many, many different studio executives, and then they always tended to look at me blankly at best. And you know, the thing about Watchmen is, I now that it's being made, I don't really want to describe it to people. All I normally tell them is, you know, this is the best written graphic novel of all time. And, you know, I might discuss some of the themes, you know, the questioning of vigilante justice or the nature of man becoming God, but I try to keep it pretty ambiguous in my descriptions because it's such an amazing and unique story that I would rather people go into it with no idea what's going to happen and just experience it.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Why do you need me to explain it to you?
Oh no. That's
okay. You know.
That's fantastic.
You know what it is.
Like I said earlier, you know, the actual Watchmen movie, it's been a long time coming. It's gone through production hell, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
And originally it was all your script, and then it got shifted around to a few studios, and when it got to Warner, they brought on Alex C. And I think it's pretty safe to say he changed more than a few things in your original script. But at this point, like even after all the edits that it's passed through, do you have any idea how much of your original vision survived all the revising?
Yeah, well, there was a credit arbitration process, and they sent me the shooting draft, and so I was able to go through it. And actually, you know, a lot of my original stuff is there. And you know, keep in mind, Alex and I were both doing the same thing. You know, we were both not writing our Watchmen scripts. You know, we were writing Watchmen and trying to adapt that book as closely as possible. So there are a few things, there are a number of things that I put in that are still in there that sort of support the story or move it from one place to the other.
Right.
You know, embrace some of the concepts that I put in. But there's also a lot of stuff that Alex put in, and when I was really happy with the script, and so when it was time to write my letter to the arbitration committee, I said, you know, I think that this is equal parts Alex and myself, and I'm very proud to share credit with him, and I think it was the exact right outcome.
Great. Now, over the years, as you've gotten older and more experienced, do you find that your writing process has changed at all?
Well, I've gotten a little slower. I've started to burn my brain out a little bit. But no, my process is pretty much the same. I try to identify a story, whether it be an adaptation or an original story, by its skeleton. You know, sort of putting together the spine of the story, the basic act turns and the basic character arcs, and then I turn that into a more fleshed out treatment, and then I give it to the producers, and we go through it, and then I turn it into an even better treatment, and then I write the script, and that's really the only way I know how to do it. I'm sure other people have different techniques, but I don't know what they are.
And that's really interesting that you said that you had slowed down some, because I was listening to an interview last night where you said that you punched out about 8 pages a day.
Yeah, I can still do that, though. That's really the peak of my output. I mean, after that, I start to, the words start to get fuzzy on the page. I do less now because I think it's easier. I mean, I probably do about 5 pages per day on average, which may not sound like a lot, but it's a lot. I mean, that's a good, probably 2 full scenes, and that takes a lot of tweaking and rewriting and readjusting the script as I go. So, and that seems to be a pretty good pace for me, and I'm able to still get, good 2 or 3 scripts done in a year if I need to.
Right. Oh, wow. Now, are you picky at all about the atmosphere? Like, when you're writing, like, how quiet the room has to be or anything like that?
Yes. Stephen King said that to write properly, you need a locked door. You just need no distractions, and you need to be able to be alone with it, because what people don't realize is, you sit down for 40 minutes, say, to start working, and it takes you that time to really sort of warm up your brain and really get into the process. And if somebody comes and distracts you for 5 minutes, says, oh, well, there's this phone call or whatever, mm-hmm. and you talk for 5 minutes, well, it doesn't set you back 5 minutes. It really sets you back to the beginning of that initial 40 minutes.
Right.
So it is best to work, I think, alone and undistracted. However, when I was working on Watchmen in England with Paul Greengrass, I was in this hotel room for months on end working on the script, and it just got so miserable and boring that I started going down. I'd go down to Starbucks or something and put my feet up and put on some headphones so people wouldn't bother me, but just to be around human contact while I was writing was kind of helpful in that event. So that was sort of an exception to my rule.
Right. I know being a writer pretty much completely changes the way you watch television and do just about anything, but do you have any sort of guilty pleasure TV shows and movies that you're enjoying right now?
No, I don't really. I don't watch a lot of scripted television for that exact reason. It's very, like my wife watches Law and Order, and I've gotten so good at examining the structure that just by looking at what they're doing and seeing what time it is, I know who the killer is and whether it's that person or whether it's going to be a surprise person down the road. And so that sort of kills it for you. I did turn on Generation Kill the other day, which looked pretty good, and so I just set my DVR to record that. And you know, I just like things with really good writing. So when The Sopranos was on, I watched The Sopranos. I watched Battlestar Galactica.
Right.
I don't have any guilty pleasures. I'm not guilty about anything. Don't have any guilt in your life. That's my motto.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
I know
regret nothing.